That might be
It's a sandbox. It's a soapbox. It's Bandbox.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Tardis Talk. It has been a hiatus, but we brought ourselves back for the specific purpose of talking about some new Who news that has come out that may not be exactly what we want to talk about. But first of all, let me go and just introduce myself. My name is Tony. You can find me as Mr. Marvelite on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. When I do post anything, which is not really regularly, because I am enjoying the idea of living my life and not worrying about what trolls on the internet say. But if I do want to talk to people that I've met on the internet that I like, I go here. And speaking of which, Johnny, go ahead and tell us where we can find you.
Y'all can find me at Marvelous Johnny on Instagram, TikTok. I don't really post as much right now, but I live in Vancouver, so if you guys want to see me get into silly hijinks during FIFA, since I'm in one of the hosting cities, feel free to follow me on Instagram. It's going to be fun for the next few days.
Nice. And David.
I am Xanatos1138 on all socials. You can find me here and mostly TikTok, though. And recently, I'm finally back on Twitch. That's why this green screen is behind me, because I'll strap it to my chair. And I'm still working out the kinks, but I'm streaming 007 First Light consistently. There's no schedule yet. I'm just kind of whenever I feel like it.
Can I also say that your framing for your camera is like on point right now? Like you used to be like just kind of like hidden under, and you could like see everything behind you. I do love this framing, and so
this was an accident, because in order to get this strapped and like everything to work so that I could blend in OBS, that it's just my floating head in the game and not like a square. Okay. I had to zoom the camera in, and when I zoomed it in, I thought it was only doing it in OBS, and now it seems like everywhere else it is just this. And I'm just going to keep it this way.
So what you're saying is you get a better headshot when you're getting ready to put your strap on.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
That's the perfect way to phrase it.
I got to improve the lighting, because I noticed the other night when I had it like that, my beard kept disappearing in the green screen. And I was just a translucent floating head. Sometimes I was a little red because the coloring was off. But
if you do it right, you just be the face of Bo. I mean, come on.
Right. I mean,
lean into it.
This is great lighting now during the daytime. But since I stream at night, I only have one light up over here. I have to get a ring light and put it right over the monitor, see if that does any better.
Right, because you're using sunlight right now. It's kind of helping. Yeah. No, but that's cool. I'm glad you're on Twitch. I know you had been talking about it forever. And just so everybody knows, we're going to continue doing this show. It's just like life has been lifing. And between car accidents and house fires and just moving and everything else, and taking lots of cold showers, we've decided that, since there's a hiatus, and it could be a really long hiatus for the show, we can take our time.
I was going to say, I don't think any of us predicted it would be this long of a hiatus, though.
No, we did not. But speaking on that, now, David and I have not been delving too much into this. Johnny, this was your driving force. You wanted to get on here to talk about this. Go ahead and just let's break out what's going on and let's talk about it.
Okay, for those who are unaware, because as if we weren't blatant enough with it, Doctor Who isn't officially canceled, but that 2026 Christmas special was axed. And then once we found out it was axed, we then got official word from Doctor Who television themselves that it's out to tender, which means they're just so it means Bad Wolf Company and Russell T Davies are out of the picture now, so they need to find a new production company. And also we know Disney's probably out. I don't think there's actual official word that Disney is out, but this is pretty much just soft confirmation that Disney does not want any involvement with Doctor Who anymore.
But yeah, especially for the fact that the unit show has not come to the Americas.
Anywhere else besides the UK. Yeah. Which is weird. I live in Canada. We are part of the Commonwealth.
It's not surprising that large studios would just write things off to the behest of everybody not being able to enjoy what they were hoping to do. Well, they may be doing us a favor. We have no idea.
I mean, I heard the first few episodes of War Between the Land and Sea are pretty good. The stuff at the end, like, it doesn't end on a high note, though. Like, it kind of pitters out from the highs that it achieves.
Oh, kind of like the last season of Doctor Who.
Or, the last few seasons. Sorry, David, I know you like Jodie. No, but overall, so they're putting it out to tender, meaning they're trying to find new production companies besides Bad Wolf to help them produce the show. So we don't know how long that's going to take. We don't know when that's going to be, really. So as of this moment, Doctor Who is pretty much just on a very soft cancel. It's like when one of your favorite, oh god, what's a good example of this? What was the show that was canceled and then Netflix ended up picking it up for like the last few seasons or so?
I think one of them was Lucifer.
Yeah, Lucifer was one of them, and Clone Wars, because remember when Disney bought Clone Wars, they ended Clone Wars, and then Netflix picked up like the last few seasons of like season 7 before Disney themselves decided to make season 8 for the actual final conclusion. It's a little bit like this right now, but it's a lot more unpredictable, a bit more unknown, because we don't know who's going to be part of the production. We don't know if they're looking for purely European or if they're going out to the Americas to help produce this series anymore. Clearly, they seemed interested. Doctor Who's currently available on AMC Plus, right?
I heard Stephen Moffat is even like trying to rally to get, even though I thought he said he was done, he's actually rallying to get it.
I mean, it's funny because, like you said, David, he's done, but this might have forced his hand to be like, and I need to step back in.
He's like, I don't want this to completely end. Let me try and get this back. And I personally, Russell T Davies is fine for an entire season, though. I could do without that. I could do without that.
Do you know what's interesting about this? Because I was thinking about this. Do you remember what Eccleston said would be the one way he
Russell
would come
T.
back?
Davies, and then a bunch of that. That's actually been making the circulation for Doctor Who social media right now, where it's just replays of Christopher Eccleston saying, just get rid of Russell T. Davies and everyone else that's been involved with New Who since he started.
And would it not be? I mean, let's just face it. We ended with the most enigmatic ending of wow, it's been so long. I almost forget the regeneration.
Yes.
Into
Billy Piper back.
Billy Piper as whatever she is in the Doctor's place. Would it not be cool if the companion was the Eccleston?
It would be funny. Like we know the Doctor can pull faces from people that he knows. Thank you, Capaldi. But
yes.
Yeah. So it would be a fun little flip. It'd be interesting because we know Eccleston and Billy Piper still work well together. They get along great.
Oh, absolutely. And they do like the audio dramas and stuff together.
Exactly. So.
You know, and if you really enjoyed that first season of New Who and you really enjoyed the Ninth Doctor, it didn't just end with that one season. Yes, he was one of the doctors that got the least screen time.
Yep.
But if you go, there are stories, there are books, there are comics, there are audio dramas with these actors doing more stories. And just like if you really enjoy Doctor Who, just because this is going on does not mean that there isn't like content for you to consume that you've never observed. So it is unfortunate. It really is. But hopefully it's for the best. I was actually just talking with my wife about this before the show, and I said, it's really funny. Disney is the reason why I feel like all of this is falling apart. Disney had this unrealistic, and I know I've said it, it's like a broken record now, had this unrealistic desire that they would take and throw this huge budget at Doctor Who, but they required them to do everything in 4K, and they sacrificed the quality of the show for the quality of the image, if that makes sense. It's like, yeah, it aesthetically looked good, but there was something about the lack of campiness that I think really drew away from the show, and I really feel like this is an opportunity for us to go back to recipe.
Yeah.
And get what we liked before. Because Doctor Who did not... Now, I will say this. The quality jump from the 10th Doctor to the 11th Doctor was noticeable and very appreciated. I loved the way the production increased with Matt Smith's Doctor. just all of it was, which was more fun. It was more action. It was more entertaining. There was a lot more, accepting of CGI,
I
but
think
not
the
to where it was too
best
much.
way to describe 11 and 12 is the fact they kept it campy through some of the stories. Like, aesthetically, it didn't look as campy for sure, but story-wise, and from what the actors would do sometimes, from how the script was written, it still kept that campy aspect, which I feel like we lost a lot of during Jodie's run.
Yeah.
And even like the classic villains, like especially in the last couple of seasons, you don't have many Daleks, you don't have many Cybermen,
Yeah.
no Weeping Angels. And I know the Weeping Angels part is partly because it's like they had to get permission, or they had like I forget who created the Weeping Angels.
It was Moffat.
Moffat, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay, yeah. So like that was tough, but like just not seeing a Dalek until one of Jodie's specials, and then never seeing a Dalek. I don't. Did we ever see
It
a
was
Dalek?
only ever in the specials, I think, for Jodie.
But
Yeah.
like,
Well,
what about Shooty? Did we ever see a Dalek with Shooty?
Shooty never got a
no,
Dalek.
we only
He
ever
said he
we only
wanted
had
to.
references. We only had
Yeah.
references of them.
Yeah.
Shooty never got to fight Daleks, Cybermen.
In fact,
or-
Shooty didn't really have, other than when you think about it was not
We had the classic villains at the end of all the stories, and then the reference
Yeah.
episode back to
Midnight.
10th Doctors, exactly, with Midnight. I think those are the only referenced, like, established Who villains that Shooty got. Which, also, I quickly Googled this, and this does come from Google AI, but apparently it says that Christopher Eccleston actually had more screen time for Doctor Who than Shooty put all together.
I've seen that.
That makes that's about makes sense.
is
The shows, the episodes were, I believe, a little bit shorter in some instances.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot less episodes by comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Shooty and Jodie are great doctors. It's just the story and the elements have to match up.
I like how, in hindsight now, you guys are like, oh yeah, no, the stories for Shooty weren't too great. And here I was like, I don't know if I like the story.
There were some that
The whole
were
time.
spot on.
Yeah. I really like the Midnight one.
I liked when they went to Abbey Road. I love Dot and Bubble because that one was one of those episodes where you went back and you actually had to stop and think. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh crap. And there was even like, I went back to, what was it? Gallifrey Falls. When you had the War Doctor and then you had the 11th and the 10th. And it was funny though, because like, I don't know what it was. I was going back and watching it. And I was like, this makes sense. That wasn't, because I kept thinking like, what was it when the War Doctor calls her the bad wolf girl? I'm like, oh, that's Rose in time still. Like, we didn't get much of that, but that's one of those opportunities that she put herself in that we got to see. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that.
It's-
And like the episodes self-contained for Shooty were actually
Yes.
they were good. They were good episodes. It's just my major problem was the payoff of both seasons.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're named Ruby because I pointed at a road sign.
yeah.
Yes. They were trying to make the episodes too connected. It was almost like the MCU problem.
Yeah.
Where everything had to be connected. Where
Or-
in Doctor Who, like with the 10th Doctor, there were instances like with Saxton where you had breadcrumbs, but they weren't part of the story until it was like, oh, that's what they've been talking about this whole time.
Yeah, it's interesting because it feels okay. So I think the best way to describe it is like when Doctor Who returned, it was still early 2005. No one had that many cell phones. People sat down and watched stuff. Shooty's run of Doctor Who and Russell T Davies' writing for Shooty's run of Doctor Who, it really invokes what we've been hearing a lot from studio executives of this needs to be watched while someone is scrolling on their phone and doing something else. This needs to fit that kind of like that mindset when it comes to watching television, because if I feel like with, for example, Saxon back during the original New Who, we've kept hearing people talking about him in the background. We just didn't know who he was until the final episodes. And then we hear that name and then we go back and then we're like, oh, they mentioned him here, 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 and here. Whereas with how Russell T Davies decides to handle this kind of story, we have Mrs. Flood, who they have to like make her very obvious throughout each episode, right? As well as I forget who her name was, the guy who Who was the end villain for Shooty's first season again? It was the
Oh,
Jackal.
Sutek.
Yeah, Sutek.
Sutek, yeah. So they made the woman who was like Sutek's scion or whatever also very obvious. Like, she kept coming up. And you can see they're trying to get creative with it, but I think the subtlety is lost. And because people so easily picked up on the fact that she kept coming up in every single episode, people theory crafted, people kept coming up with all these ideas, and by the ultimate conclusion, it wasn't what people might have wanted because people had built set expectations so much because they kept it so obvious for people that it allowed them to theory craft to our own detriment in many ways as well.
Yeah, I mean, they had some great ideas for things. I mean, like I remember with oh crap, I'm forgetting her name because it's like not even Ruby.
Yeah.
Ruby's like you were enthralled because it's like, okay, how is she making it snow? How is this so important? And then it's almost like they got Game of Thrones level lazy. And she just walks off and it's just nothing of any consequence.
It's very, I mean, I was saying it even for when we're doing New Who Watch Back that Russell T Davies has a very hand-wavy explanation when it comes to the problems he imposes or the problems that he puts in. You know, like the solutions aren't like when Moffat wrote, where they feel clever, where it's like it's a clear line that you can follow through. When it comes to Davy, it's point 1 and point 2, and you just go from A to B. That's how it feels when it comes to Davies's writing.
Yeah. And I think that was the thing. Like, I think there are a lot of times, like when you hear in the stories, like Torchwood or different things where they became something bigger, and it was like, oh, this works. Let's keep expounding on it. Instead of like kind of artificially instigating these ideas, and just like listen to the fans. And I think that's also again another problem when it comes to these streaming shows. Streaming shows suck because typically when you have things that go on television, they're still in production as it's airing. And so if they can see that the audience is turning against a storyline, they can course correct. And in streaming, you can't do that. You're stuck with whatever you get. And so pacing problems, everything else, they would have benefited from knowing, but they're like, oh no, we got to get all this done. This show's been done for like a year. Let's go ahead and put it out there.
And
it
which
doesn't
also
really
adds
matter.
on to the special effects act problem we had because they want it to look so good. I'm not doing quotation marks because it looks bad, it's just because, because of that, it consumes that much more time in terms of the production aspect, right?
Yeah.
There are certain shows now that benefit from being released all at once versus episodic. Because if it's episodic and it's got build up, you're wondering, all right, why are the first 3 weeks nothing really happens, and then it picks up halfway through, and they're like, oh, okay, here we go. Here's the part where everything gets serious.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Like Mall this year.
My
Mall
exact
was so good.
my exact
2 episodes
reaction.
a week. Like that with the way they split that series up, it was perfect, I think.
Well, see, that's why I came up with the example, because I was like, what are we doing here until like episode 5 or 6? I'm like, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah. And you have everything right there. And it's just like, okay, so it's pacing it out, it keeps the discussion going, and it doesn't provide you with so much lack of information that it can lead to people doing things that leads to the detriment of the series, I find, which is Doctor Who's problem.
Really, what they really need to consider streaming is more like miniseries. It's very much what that was. I remember back in the 90s. I'm sorry, you guys probably weren't. Well, David was probably alive at the time.
I was born in '98.
I turned 41.
I'm talking about something that was like 1993. So back when you were still like a cell.
Okay, here's the thing. I still live in Canada though, so like everything we got in 2000s was early 90s.
Oh,
we're like 10 years behind you guys.
Good point. So I remember like there was a book called The Beast, and it was about a giant squid. And I remember there was a limited TV run. It was like 3 episodes. It was 1 week at a time. Like you had to wait till Sunday night to get to the next one. It was like it was an event. And you knew it was self-contained and it was based off of one story. And so you things like Punisher, like Daredevil Born Again, those are very much, they're not episodic. They are telling one cohesive story, and those are great. But when you've, just like you said, when you got something like Doctor Who, it doesn't benefit at all.
No.
There is no opportunity for improvement or to change, and that's one of the great things about TV productions. I mean, look at good example in America. Parks and Rec, or even think about like soap operas. People are still watching soap operas after 20, 30 years.
Love Island.
Yeah, I mean, like stuff like that exists because they move things on a dime, and oh, the actor died. Next week their funeral is happening on the show. Like those things only exist in a world where you can do things on the fly, and it doesn't have to require a ton of special effects and CGI.
It's funny you said soap opera and related it back to Daredevil and Punisher, because I was watching some comic book content and they said that like comics are just soap operas in book format. Which
I've been saying that for years. And David, I'm calling you out for this. So is professional wrestling. It is a soap opera where mostly hetero men watch a bunch of guys in underwear wrestle with each other, and have drama and slap each other silly.
Right across the tits sometimes.
So
really hard. Yeah.
Really hard from what I've seen.
That's actually on my bucket list to get chopped by a wrestler.
Would you pay for that? I'm curious.
Probably, yeah. Just to see what it feels like, because it does actually hurt.
Why, David?
I kind of want to be there for that.
I didn't know you had such fetishes.
I was gonna say we don't kink shame here.
No, we don't.
No. But also to this Doctor Who news as well.
Yes, let's get back to that.
Yes, but we've been on topic the whole time, I think, because we're comparing Doctor Who to wider media as a whole, which is important for the future of Doctor Who. But along with the news, we found out that Russell T Davies actually didn't have anything even written for the Christmas stuff.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, what is he doing? Is he just living off the residuals?
Is he living off the residuals? Like, how much of this shit is he... Like, because hearing that, I'm like, how much ass-pulling did you do when it came to Shooty's run here? Like, let's be honest.
Isn't he already involved in something else? Isn't he already doing something else?
I don't know.
See, for me, it's just a thing of, like, if you really care about a product, and I would have told you, like, whether I liked all of Russell T Davies' work, I knew he loved the property. I can't even say that anymore. Like, I don't know if he's just gotten kind of used to it. It's kind of like me and making Marvel content right now. Like, I still enjoy it, but I just don't want to do it. And if that's the case and he's just phoning it in, yes, please pass the reins on to some people that have that blood. And if you go and look, I mean, listen, Terrell keeps going to like the Doctor Who things, and he's got all of the stuff that you can see on the museums and the different things, and people are still doing stuff that they're enjoying Doctor Who.
Last year at San Diego Comic-Con, they had Doctor Who events to go to for fans. I went to them. It was great. It was fun.
Yeah, well, Disney is great about doing like events.
Yeah.
They really know how to capitalize on their properties, even when the properties are suffering. So
true. Yeah. But it's just overall, like, I think hearing how Russell T Davies was doing things by the end of this has made me go like, okay, personally for me, I don't want anyone who was like really involved with 2005 forward Doctor Who to really come into play again. Like, find a new production company, yes, but for like your showrunner, because was it Moffat, Davies started it off, and Chibnall, they were all working on Doctor Who beforehand. Don't get any of them, honestly. Get someone new, see how it goes.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind them coming back for like one-offs, like where they bring in like some of their stuff. Like there's some Chibnall that I mean, like if Chibnall like gets a spark of inspiration and wants to do something, like go for it. Yeah. Same for Moffat. I don't know about Russell T Davies. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I kind of would like them to have new blood, but I'd like to have people that would like to go back to the basics, the campiness. It's like unrelated, but still like bringing this stuff up. It's like I haven't seen it yet, but the Backrooms movie, being like directed by a guy who did YouTube, and everyone's like giving him crap for it. Except for he was making very successful content on the subject matter, and why not give him a chance instead of giving somebody who like let's say, oh, M. Night Shyamalaning Avataring it.
Yeah.
Like I don't want big names. I want breakthrough artists. I want people that like we're getting to know. Like people kind of knew Eccleston at the time that he was coming into Doctor Who. People knew David Tennant, but not as well.
Not a lot of people knew Matt Smith.
Exactly. And so you look at these people and what they were able to come out of it, like make like same thing with like Star Wars. Like don't have big names being in the movies.
As we're about to get a
make them
Ryan Gosling
big
Star Wars movie.
Exactly. Like make them big names. I want to see the next generation of really great method artists because
I think the
they're
perfect
being put
example
in these
here
roles.
is Obsession. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't know how much you guys love horror movies. I'd watched it. I couldn't sleep for 2 nights, by the way. But I was scared so badly, but I fucking loved it. That's how good it was. I kind of want that brought back to Doctor Who. Like what I saw in Obsession, I was like watching this. I'm just like, this could be a Doctor Who plot. It can I'm not saying Doctor Who should be super dark like Obsession or anything like that, but like playing like it's because Obsession starts off with like this aspect of mysticism, and with where Doctor Who went with Shruti's run, I'm like, this could have been like an excellent Doctor Who plot as well, you know?
Johnny, have you seen Superman and Lois, the CW adaptation?
So I tried to watch season 1. I couldn't get through it because I did not like the actors for Jordan or John. But
that's right.
I know the actress is in them, and it's making me want to watch it now.
Yeah, I
will
was like,
tell
man.
you, the Jonathan was Jonathan changes. They switched
the actor.
the actor switches.
I know he gets recast in like the last season or something like that.
They did a really good job of picking someone that looked a lot like him.
Yeah, I get clips of it every now and then, and I can never tell because like I don't know if I'm at a point where I'm like, have I seen the final season, and am I watching earlier stuff?
I will tell you,
I can't tell.
Getting through the first season, like it's really establishing kind of the world because you're like you have a lot of like deep predispositions about what you think should be going on. This is a great after you get through the first season, that second season really picks up. And you get a mixture of like Smallville vibes a little bit, but it's very much where there's more cohesiveness and like once you get to Luther, like I love Sons of Anarchy Luther. Like that was just.
It's funny because when I saw that casting, I'm just like, I don't want this guy. I want freaking Alan from 2.5 Men back in. Give me Alan.
No, the gritty like rough Luther is great. It's a great iteration. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'll give it another go, mostly for Indy because she's fantastic, and everything I see of her online right now, I'm just like, oh, she's so lovely.
Yeah. Once you get past like the Kryptonians, it gets a lot better. So
I know we do Bizarro World and all that.
And I thought that was done really well.
And Doomsday through Bizarro, so yeah.
Yeah.
But back to Doctor Who. I'm curious. I'm just like, what do you guys like? What are your fundamentals that you think the future of Doctor Who should have for a stable, reliable, like as fans, what do we want to see? What do we think Doctor Who needs?
Dave, you want to start it off?
I mean, I don't know if I could pinpoint exactly, but I'm just thinking like, man, I think the best of New Who, the absolute best of New Who was 10, 11, and 12. Mm-hmm. So if we go back to the stuff that made those seasons great, then it would have more forward momentum and be able to continue for a longer period than Shooty's run.
Yeah. Because Shooty doesn't have the shortest run, but he has the least screen time, which is so unfortunate for like the first Black Doctor. Or technically second Black Doctor because of Fugitive, but yeah.
So for me, it's kind of interesting. I think it needs to stop. It needs to go away from streaming, or if it's streaming,
that's my biggest thing.
It's delayed release. This needs to go on broadcast. It needs to be done in time. It needs to go back to the campy elements. Mm-hmm. I would even throw 9 in there. I think that some of what has been lost with Doctor Who is the mystery of the Doctor. I feel like we've expounded way too much about him. We know way too much about him. I mean, let's face it, the only thing that we don't know is his actual name.
Yeah, which I don't think
Which
they
I
should
was
ever
I was
reveal.
I was almost thinking they were gonna do it in with Shooty. So I'm glad they didn't. Because I feel like they were throwing way too many things to the wind. It was too. I love the Doctor that's healed or is healing more, but Shooty's run was better when he was manic at certain points.
Yeah.
When he had a loss of control, I was like, "That's my Doctor."
When he's yelling at himself in that second
Yes.
Christmas special, yeah,
Yes.
that's my favorite.
And
You
so
know,
you get those frustrations, like, but I think that's what it needs to go back to the basics. It needs to keep away from streaming. It needs to not be all done in one go. I feel like they need to listen to the fans and be willing to take chances on the small, bottled, campy episodes.
Even if they went back and like did a prequel where they showcase the fugitive Doctor,
Yeah.
you know, something like that where they can go back. Like they of course have to recast John Hurt, which is a shame, but the man was old. I'm sure they could find someone that could fill those shoes pretty adequately, and I just feel like that would be a very interesting time frame to explore. Excuse me.
For me, one of the biggest, like from a narrative level, I think one of my biggest issues with New Who as it progressed, or not as it progressed, because we hit points where like things needed to be tackled, but when we reached points where they didn't need to be, was when I had issues, because the issues of regeneration, the changes inconsistent not, I don't want to be one of those people who's like, oh, it doesn't adhere to the lore. I'm just more so annoyed that they keep trying to add and change things about it to make it more complicated. Because regeneration, it was always, you have 13 regenerations, by the 13th one, it's over. We have to get around that somehow in order for Doctor Who to be prolonged. I get that.
Yeah.
But for the Jodie run, where it's like she was the timeless child, didn't love that.
Well, even if they were to expand on the timeless child part and actually flesh it out more, I feel like that would be more well received, at least a little bit. Because like you look at stuff like the sequel trilogy of Star Wars, and they have been expanding on that in outside media, but they need to put visual media of it out. That's how the prequels were like how the prequels were enhanced is because of the Clone Wars and like visual media that was able to fill in the blanks.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, I agree with that, because I mean, I think Doctor Who as well could work really well in animation, for the record. So I wouldn't be opposed to like having another Doctor Who animated series, just bring back old doctors and all that, having people replicate the voices, stuff like that. Even maybe redoing some of the books we've gotten and read and seen would be really cool. But on top of that, because like we like, not to just harken back onto the Chibnall shitting on Jodie stuff, because we get that so often, but the constant change to regeneration and then adding on bi-generation, and then I forget, there was like some other revelation that we had through the Ronnie during Shooty's run as well that I can't remember, but I think there was something else going on there, which after a point I feel like they need to stop. Oh, one of my other things I didn't love was Shooty just keeping all that regeneration energy and then expounding it at random points throughout the story within the new series.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that just came to mind is David Tennant's Doctor 14 is still out there somewhere. Yeah. So whenever they bring it back, I bet you anything the special is going to just be David Tennant.
It's legit, yeah. Because we were at the 60th anniversary during what year again?
2023.
2023?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're 3 years now in, so we're at 63 years. We have another 12 years until the 75th anniversary, which I'm sure they will do something for.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
Hopefully they'll have something by then. If not, this will be the biggest hiatus of Doctor Who's history since 8 to 9. But on top of all that, I think new blood, like you mentioned, Tony, is important for Doctor Who, and hopefully it is someone who can appreciate the campiness, someone who understands the necessity of the serialized format for television when it comes to things like Doctor Who. That, or they need to find someone who can actually make Doctor Who work on a streaming way, you know?
True.
Or maybe we just need a mentality change when it comes to streaming. Like, we have to accept the idea of serialized television on a streaming format, like Friends. Like, people love to go back and rewatch Friends and all those shows like that, where it's just people getting into hijinks.
Well, it's almost like, this. I hate suggesting this, but like, if we want to like do a reset, in a sense, do a movie. Do a movie, and then let that then spawn back into the campiness, but like let us get back to a common ground, because I feel like Disney wanted to tell a story in a movie, and they probably would have been better off doing it, because like some of the specials were great, and then it was like, huh? Okay.
Last Doctor Who movie we had was the 50th anniversary, so
yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
anything else we want to say about the passing of New Who? Actually, you
Don't say
want
it that way. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to
for the
mourn
death
loss
of New Who. You started with Russell T Davies, and you sadly also ended with Russell T Davies somehow.
It's gonna end up being like New York, and we're just New Who.
Yeah, the new. We'll be getting into new Who, and then
Is
we'll
that
have
what
new
we're
Who
gonna call
news.
it?
We'll have Dugadoo do.
Not again.
I'm not going to pull it up. Don't worry about
Thank
it.
you.
No, but I think, I mean, I hate the term tender when they said they put it out the tender, because all I think of is like, it's going to be burned in the burn pile. But I know what that means production wise. It's just, I think what a lot of people forget is like, okay, we've been indulging in Doctor Who and everything else. My kid's 11 years old. For the last 3 years, he's loved Doctor Who. And he now, as a child, has to experience this. And though it's not that big of a deal, I mean, think back on your childhood when something got canceled.
I
It's
never
like,
knew anything got canceled. I just thought like the show just kept doing reruns. And then
I remember
just, like,
being in
oh,
high
yeah,
school
no,
when
shows are
Animaniacs
still
stopped.
fine.
And I loved Animaniacs. And then they brought it back. I haven't watched any of it. My son adores
I hear
it.
it's good.
It's good.
I heard it's
It is
really good.
Yeah.
But like I've only ever watched the stuff because it almost is like bringing back that hurt, because I know, because it's on streaming, it's not going to last, especially with it being through Warner Brothers. So don't give me hope, please don't. But like I just want I just want them to make something, and it doesn't even have to be perfect. Just make it good, please.
I like how we need to beg for something to be good, or not. Okay, actually, to add on to the desires. Actually, I'll just say this: when New Who comes out, hopefully, they give it the opportunities beyond just 2 seasons before they go like, okay, we can't do this, we're moving on. Three seasons at minimum, and then maybe put out a 4th where they revamp it. Something like that, like I said with Parks and Recs, after they
like
find their
they
footing.
do with broadcast television.
Yeah.
Have it signed for a 3-season deal with the option to renew at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
Because then you could lead with a cliffhanger, and then if you want to go a different route, you can go a different route.
Yeah.
But like actually give an opportunity to tell a story,
And make it more than 8 episodes a season.
and it doesn't have to all connect.
It doesn't.
It doesn't have to be all the friends we met along the way.
No, it doesn't. I don't. I
Oh
still
my-
can't
oh my word.
believe-
I was doing something with ChatGPT, and yes, I use ChatGPT to like kind of like help conduce my own thoughts. And I was giving it a suggestion, and it said, "Oh, it's like when you all the friends you meet along the way." And I was like, "Absolutely, never use that phrase again." I was like, you can never get away from it.
God. Oh man. But with Doctor Who, we know, or I don't know if we actually know, in some way it's inevitable for Billie Piper to have to come back.
Right.
I want to pose a hypothesis, because in my mind, part of my desire is like, I kind of hope we just don't return to that. I kind of hope they just, like, Star Wars original trilogy and prequel it, where they just add whoever is going to be the next Doctor over Billie Piper, and then just call it there.
Or be like, it'd be like, it's like she like notices like, oh, look who and then she regenerates again into the the right Doctor.
Yeah, Like,
I mean,
like it's like when Smith turned into Capaldi. It's just like you think it's done, and then just like instantaneous one more change into whomever.
yep. Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it's not unheard of that, it was back in the 11th run that we heard that, and we know that with David Tennant it's happened that you can return to a face. So
True.
we can do, some revisiting. Of course, my desire for revisiting would be Cabaldi. The problem is the dude is having way too much fun rocking out at concerts.
Being a rock star.
Yes. Yeah. Like I look at him and I'm seeing how he's playing the audience. I'm like, yeah, he's never going back to production like that. Nope.
Sad.
Yeah, he actually said in an interview, like a carpet interview somewhere, that he's done. He's had his time. He's good with not coming back.
Yeah, and my thought is like, yeah, I thought you were a fan. I thought you were a fan of Doctor Who.
But I hope the next Doctor is another woman. Like I want them to try that again.
Am I allowed to say, like, I hope for, like, an older woman?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
I think it'd be funny.
Yeah. How about like an Asian?
I approve of that. Here's the
like,
thing. I've always... Gemma Chang, beautiful, stunning. She has been in Doctor Who before. I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool if one day she could be the Doctor. But, because, like, the thing with Asians, like, we don't age.
So once upon a time I did say I want an Asian woman doctor, and then I realized that sounds like a stereotype. I'm going to stop saying that. But I mean,
that's
within that context,
only if at some point the Asian doctor would be like, I look like somebody whose parents only ever wanted me to be a doctor.
I'm not
okay. That went.
Oh man.
No.
Or it's just be funny if, like, we have an Asian doctor. They're in the modern day, and like, oh, officer, you're here, or not officer. Like, oh, it's my lawyer that's here, or it's, oh, hey, the head engineer's here, something like that. And then she's just like, I mean, I can, but what? Why did? Most people don't assume that about me. What about me screams any of that? And they're just like.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I mean, like, I just honestly at any point, like, I think the thing is, like, don't force it. Let it not have to stream. It's the same thing. I really think that, I don't know. Just with what we've had, Amazon, we had AMC Plus. Who else? Like I think Netflix at one point was interested. Were they not?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
With, if I'm being entirely honest, I feel like if it gets picked up by any streaming service, it would be Amazon Prime.
As long as Paramount or HBO never gets it.
Yeah, I don't want Paramount touching Doctor Who. Please no. Never.
HBO is already going to have Harry Potter, and I don't want it.
Yeah, we don't need more of that. And plus, if you give it to Paramount, then all of Doctor Who will just leak online like a year before it's supposed to come out.
Yeah.
I won't say anything about that. I have seen it though.
Have you guys watched Spider-Man Noir?
I have.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't yet. I am so behind on
It's fun.
content. Like, I've been listening
Nick
to
Cage
YouTube
gets
stories.
to be Nick Cage in the best ways.
I somehow managed to watch the entirety of it in black and white. It was really good, though.
I also watched in black and white, but I was on substances.
Okay, good to
It
know.
made it for a very entertaining viewing experience, I will say.
Yeah, I thought that usually colors helped that, though.
Usually, yeah, but for some reason, having it in black and white made it all the funnier.
Okay.
So not to again get off topic, but the one payoff I was hoping for in Spider-Man Noir, which is not really a spoiler, he never. I mean, it's probably separate from Into the Spider-Verse anyway, but he never comes across a Rubik's Cube. And all I remember from Into the Spider-Verse is like, I'm going to take this funny cube thing with me.
Yep. I mean, it's fun because in that one he calls himself Peter Parker, and in this one he's Ben Reilly. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I got for Doctor Who stuff.
No, I don't think we've ever gone this on topic for this long.
Yeah.
No, but first of all, I've missed everybody. I've enjoyed
I miss
doing
you
this
too.
today. We will be back eventually. If you don't know,
Like
find us
Doctor
on
Who.
yeah, like Doctor Who. Find us on YouTube at It's Fanbox. But most importantly, find us where you can find me. I'm at Mr. Marvelite. David, where can we find you?
I am Xanatos1138 on all socials. You can also find me here every Thursday-ish, depending on life stuff. But me and my buddy Cass do a wrestling podcast called A Wrestling Podcast. And you'll find it being Cass doing a lot of the talking because Cass consumes 4 times as much wrestling as I do. I keep forgetting to watch some of this stuff because lifes. And you can also find me on Twitch, Xanatos1138, where I am streaming 007 First Light. I got Lego Batman on deck, Uncharted 4.
Ooh.
I got a list of games I want to start trying to stream.
Yeah. Johnny, where can we find you when you're
Y'all can
finding-
find me at Marvelous Johnny on Twitch, TikTok, Twitch as well. I don't really stream on Twitch, sadly. I want to, but life is lifing. Definitely follow me on TikTok and Instagram though, because we have a Marvel Magic the Gathering set coming out, and I'm going to be hunting for every single Shang-Chi card. So I'm gonna put myself into a very deep hole, and y'all can take entertainment out of my financial destitute.
Life is Lifing needs to be merch.
Life is lifing.
Life is lifing.
That would be good.
It's Fanbox merch. Life
Trademarked
is
by Tardis Talk.
And the
Brought to you by
other.
Fanbox.
So Cass always says, "Speaking of," and then he caught himself the other night. I was like, that needs to be on a shirt. Just
Yeah.
your face. Speaking of, and then that's it.
Yeah, you should also have a shirt that says I listen to a wrestling podcast called A Wrestling Podcast. Just be on the nose. Like and again, like if you're sitting here wondering like where the heck have you guys been for all this time? Guess what? I don't have to answer that. I don't need to tell you anything about my life because this is the great part about having a platform where we can do whatever we want. If we don't want to do any of it, we'll take a
We
break.
just don't do it.
And if you want to be able to have a platform where you can do stuff as you feel like it without having the demands of not being productive or whatever else enough, come on, reach out, send me an email.
And the beauty of this is you never know when we're going to come on.
Legit, this was all last minute. I was just talking about it this week. I'm like, yo, this is wild. Anyone want to talk about it?
I have more than once gone, I'm bursting at the seams wanting to talk about Star Wars. I have almost gotten on here, made a studio, and just did it.
We should do it, David. I'm always
Hey,
open for more Star
listen,
Wars.
listen. David
we
messaged.
really got to talk about Mando and Grogu.
David messaged me. What was it like 2 weeks ago? And was like, "Hey, so are we not paying for streaming anymore?" And I'm like, "No, I wasn't going to pay for it if we weren't going to use it." So I just popped it back on. Like, have fun with the podcast because I don't really care. And it's like if we decide to take another 3-month break, we'll take a 3-month break where I'm not paying for the streaming services. But I don't care. It's all about having fun and doing what we want, and it's worth it to me. So yeah. And look, we're right back on where we were. All the links worked again and everything else. So if you guys, I'm just gonna say this, and this is a plug. They didn't pay for us for this because honestly, nobody's paying nobody. If you are interested in doing something like this and you like to be able to have, the automations and everything else and throw in the Dugadoos or whatever, by all means, check out EVMux, EVMUX. That's what we're using for this. It's got other opportunities and like things you can do. We could do trivia games and all that kind of stuff. Will we ever do that? Probably not. But it's easy to use. You have links. You can just go in. These shows are easy to start up, and then I could even like schedule them and put them on. And it works for me. It might work for you. And then also I have to give a shout out to Transistor because even though I'm paying for them, and I know the Real Study is using them because they're continuing their podcast. It's a great place to have multiple podcasts going that you don't ever use. So yeah, that's it. Guys.
Hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu episode of Tardis Talk.
Yes, absolutely. But guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you for whoever has been sitting here. Let's see here.
We had a
Keep up the
viewer.
great work and follow these. Hey, thank you for that,
thank
Galaxy Man.
you.
I appreciate that. But yeah, so we're done. We will see you guys later.
Yes. No next time, just later.
Just like The Rock selling shampoo.